Hi guys, exeter-rider, hope you're well and had a good week. This week I'm out on a sunny bike ride out to the countryside, and it's a year ago today that I came off my bike. Okay, so just to put you in the loop folks, this happened exactly this day last year. On the day that it happened, we had a heavy frost in the night, but in Exeter it was like it is now. So what I want to do really is just set the record straight and let you know my side of the story, because I did get some stick for it at the time, and you could say rightfully so. Okay, whatever, we all make mistakes, and I'm happy to put my hand up where I make mistakes, so I've got no issue with that at all. But I just want to explain the bits really that you don't really get to see on camera. So first of all, it was a gorgeous day, much like today. So I went on a bit of an explore actually, out into the woods and into the lanes. And I had no particular reason at the time to suspect ice. You know, let's say it was like it was now. It's nice and warm. On that particular day it was between 8 and 10 degrees, so I kind of thought, well, it's going to be fine. Most importantly, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so that ice had all day to thaw out. So I didn't see any reason particularly that there would be ice. You know, what matters here is road temperature and other outside aspects. Granted, I fully understand that, but anyway, naivety, I don't know, I just went out, I just thought it was going to be like this all the way through. I'll just get out there and then I'll take you through my line of thinking at the time. Granted, today is not such a damp day than what it was that day, but that's all it was a bit damp. And granted also, I certainly felt a bit of a temperature difference from when I was in nice warm Exeter, which, yeah, okay, so technically I'm still in Exeter. I think it's right on the borderline here, whatever, who cares. And yeah, so I rode down here and nothing to suspect really, knowing that it was a little bit colder. Alright, so as you may remember here, there was a bit of mud in the centre of the road, and I made that stupid laughing noise. Sound a bit like Beavis and Butthead. And I guess I come up here, was it about here? Even now it's a bit damp actually, look. Oh, I just passed it. Right, okay, I'm going to go back again. Right, so I remember coming round this corner here, seeing the pylon. I remember seeing water coming down this road and thinking, well, it looks a little bit suspect. And I thought, no, it's not, it's fine, because it's I could see it moving. You know, there was a trickle of water going down the right hand side there. So up here, just to me, looking up at the ice, just seemed like a, you know, just seemed like water running down, because I could see the ripples. I could see something slowly coming down. So right, so I come up here, come in the centre, had a bit of spinny, and I remember looking down and thinking, hang on a minute, there's a bit of ice here. And then I thought, right, where's my escape route? Somewhere there must be some sort of area which has got a bit of grip here, because it's the first bit of ice I've encountered on this ride. And as I say, we know, as we could, you know, when I look back on it now, you know, all of that was just ice. It was sheet ice. And I think the bike ended up in here somewhere, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think it was here. So I come round the corner, lost it about this point here, and I had no escape route. There's no way I was going to save myself from going over on that ice. Just no chance. I'll never forget that, because I remember coming up thinking, I can either lean to, if I lean to the right, then I can lose it, or I can go straight through for the hedge, and then jump off or do whatever, plant the thing in the hedge. And within microseconds, I thought, well, I've got to try and save the bike, haven't I? So I just gave it just a little bit of lean, and I'm talking, you know, next to nothing. And yeah, well, there you go. We all know what happens next, don't we? Yeah, so I think the bike ended up here somewhere. Well, my shoulder took a heck of a whack. That was the thing which took a long time to heal, actually. I'd even say that it's still probably not quite right now, but it's much better than what it was. Saw the bike over there and thought, oh no, what damage have I done? And even now, actually, the only bit of damage left is that bit there, but I can live with that. Obviously this panel was battered, but in many ways I was lucky really that it was ice, because if it was on a day like today, the bike could have dug into the ground and done a lot more damage. But so in that respect I was quite lucky really. But I remember getting up and one of my first thoughts was, right, am I okay? Yes. Next thing I thought was, oh no, there's a house over there, this is really embarrassing. Let's pick the bike up and move it out of the way. In hindsight, what I should have done, of course, was I should have stopped and thought to myself, right, am I really okay? And perhaps give my shoulder a bit of a rest, because I think going over and picking up the bike straight away wasn't really the right thing to do. I think that did damage me a little bit really. And my third thought, and this is all within sort of 20-30 seconds, was, yes, my camera's working and I filmed it. Which I know is sad and pathetic and that, but at least I got a video out of it, you know. It's part of my journey. And as I say, you know, a lot of people say, God, you're not going to put that on YouTube, are you? And I said to them, well, why not? You know, it's part of my journey, and I want this to be an honest channel, no, not one that sort of hides the bad things about biking, because that's not what I want exeter-rider to be about. I want it, you know, to be about the good and the bad, and that was a particularly bad one, unfortunately. But such is life, these things do happen. I learnt from it, and when it went quiet, that's when I knew, oh shit, I've got to get around this corner somehow. And I remember looking at that hedge thinking, nah, that's not an option. And maybe if I just give it a little bit of lean, you know. There's no way out of it. All of that was ice, you know. The whole lot of it. There's no sort of like, oh, maybe I could just go over it and get past it. I couldn't get past it. I had to somehow get around this corner, because I was, you know, in position 1.5 or so, you know, by the time I wanted to get around there. And there you go. You know, there's definitely a temperature change when I come up here, but as I say, this was the only bit of ice I encountered that day, and it was a day like today. You know, that's the problem. My head was still in Exeter when I was here, and that is the problem. What else did I take away from it? If you fall off your bike, relax, wait, don't rush to pick it up. I did make a quick assessment. I thought, oh crap, am I okay? I took a bang to the head, which wasn't too much of a problem. That was okay. And but I did notice my shoulder was out in a bit, so yeah, maybe I should have waited. But I remember at the time thinking, well, if I wait for my shoulder to get better, or to assess it, so to speak, it might start hurting to the point where I can't pick the bike up. Pathetic, I know. It's all wrong, isn't it? You know, but that's just what you do at the times. You know, at the time when the adrenaline's pumping, you're in a bit of shock. I was definitely in a bit of shock, and yeah, and I just dropped my bike. Another thing, obviously, I always say to people as well, is don't go out on your own to these places like I am right now. do as I say, don't do as I do. But you know, people saying, oh, it's obvious it was ice. Yeah, it was when I was looking down. Granted, if I was coming down the hill, I would have anchored on before I even got onto that ice. But it honestly wasn't. It just looked like water coming up the hill. Another thing people were saying was it's not black ice. Okay, I don't care. I don't know, I called it black ice, but whether it was or wasn't, probably wasn't. I'm not fussed. Either way, it's bloody slidey and slippery. So we all know that one of the things I like about motorbiking, actually, and I say this to everybody, is that I can come up this hill now, go around that corner in a car, and I could do it 1,000 times, it would be the same every 1,000 times. When you're doing that corner on a bike, it's different every single time. You take a different line, you think of it differently, everything is different, and that's what keeps biking interesting. Whereas driving a car, it's just, well, I just find it a bit boring, really. I still like cars, but you're not so immersed, are you? Although that day probably would have done me a favour, actually, taking a car. But there you go, that's just my opinion on it. Like I say, it's obvious when I look down the hill that it was ice, because it had that white sheen on it. And 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I really didn't think there'd be any ice. We know when it was I think that there's a stone over there. I think that's the highest point in Exeter, where that person is over there. But right over there in the far distance, you can see Belvedere Castle, or St Lawrence Castle. That was where my gran used to live. She lived there for 10 years in that castle, from about try and think what it was now, probably about 1925 to 1935, something like that. You might think, oh, that sounds a really nice place to live, and I bet it was fantastic, but actually she absolutely hated it. There's no running water. She had to walk into Exeter barefoot every day to school. You see it there? Hopefully you can. Hopefully the 4K is doing its job. Yeah, I got married there as well. So that was in 2013. Nice place. Cooking hot day it was. Hey guys, thank you very much for watching that. Much appreciated. Hope you may have learnt something. Probably not. But I certainly did at the time. It's great having you along, and I really appreciate you watching my videos. It'd be great if you could hit the subscribe button. It makes a massive difference to me. It really makes the channel stronger and less likely to break, shall we say. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next Friday at 1 PM with another video. You're all superstars. Cheerio, bye.